Welcome back. This is lesson 2 of week 2. My name is Mildred. In this lesson, we are going to look at CSS colors and the different ways to apply colors to elements and to a page. There are several ways to write color values in CSS. We can write the standard color name. We can also use a hexadecimal value of the color. We can use the RGB value of the color or the RGBA. We can use HSL value or HSLA value. So I want to apply a style to my H1 tag, and I want to apply a style to the background. I want the background color to be, let's say, coral, and I want the text color to be white. So I can use standard color names like this, save, refresh my web page, and have that applied to the page. There is another way I can specify this color. Let's say this time I want this on the H2 tag, not on the H1. We can use the hexadecimal value of coral. You don't have to have these values in your head. There is always a reference sheet you can download, or you can always research this online to get the hexadecimal values of a color you want to apply and the standard color name. So I'm going to use the hexadecimal value of coral, which is #FF7F50. So hexadecimal values start with an hash sign and 6 values. I'll save this. I'm going to change the white to hexadecimal value of the color white, which means I'm going to white out all F. Save this, refresh my page, and I should have the H2 tag with this style. So this is how to apply the same style using hexadecimal values. We can apply this style using the RGB value. So this time let me switch the P tag, and I want to use the RGB value of coral here. Now, to have RGB, it means red, green, blue. You have 256 color channels to select from, and it takes values from 0 to 255, where 255 is the full color. I want this to be coral, so I'm putting 255 for red, 127 for green, and 80 for blue. This will give me the color I want. For white, if I mix all of red, green, blue in full color, I will get white. So I'm going to make them all 255. When I save this, the P tag should have a background color of coral and all the text should be in white. Sometimes you do not want the full color, you want a lighter shade of the color, and that is where the alpha channel comes in by adding an A. This alpha channel takes a value from 0.0 to 1.0, where 0.0 is fully transparent and 1.0 is the full color. If I want this to be very transparent, I might go towards 0.0, and if I want it to be darker, I want to go towards 1.0. So I'm going to make it in between 0.5, and I'll make this the full color. So we should have a lighter shade of the coral color applied, because I just reduced the opacity by increasing the transparency of that color. So every time you want to apply a color but you want to change the shade of the color, you use the alpha channel by specifying A. We can do the same thing with HSL, and this means the hue, saturation, and light. So I'm going to put HSL here. And so for HSL, we want to look at the first value, which is the degree on the color wheel that ranges from 0 to 360. The saturation is in percentage, 0 to 100%, and the lightness also in percentage, 0 to 100%. So for the hue, you specify 0 for the color red, we specify 120 for the color green, and 240 for the color blue. So we want to use the same coral color, and we want the value for the hue, and to get that value we are going to use this. This is 16.1. This is the standard color value. You can reset them to always get the values to use for this. Now, because the saturation is the different shade of gray, we want the full color, so put 100% is in percentage, and the lightness is how dark or how light it is. So for coral will be 65.7%. Then for white, we are going to zero out everything. We are going to make this to be 0 for red, 0% for saturation, and then 100% for lightness. Let me save this. I'm going to apply this back to the H1 tag. I will refresh my page, and let's see if we have that. Yes, so we have the coral background and the white text color. So you can research online to get the standard color names and their hexadecimal, RGB, and HSL corresponding values, and decide which of the values you prefer using for your web page development. Most of the time I'll be using the hexadecimal values or the RGB value of a color. So this is where we end this lesson. In summary, we just looked at the colors and how to apply colors in CSS. We use background color to apply color to the background of a page or an element. We use color to apply color to a text. We have 4 different ways of specifying colors. You can use the standard color name, you can use hexadecimal value of the color, you can use the RGB or the RGBA value of a color, and then you can use the HSL or HSLA value of the color. The property for applying colors to text is color property. The property for applying background color to a text or a page is the background color property. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.